I'm sober now. I no longer drink. I don't take kratom anymore. So how do I bear life now sober? And if you're new, my name's Amanda. I am a recovering alcoholic. I used to drink vodka and take kratom all day, every day. I'm coming up on a year of sobriety. I got sober in September of 2023. I had a relapse in October of 2024, and I got sober again November 4th of 2024. The whole reason for my relapse, all I did was stop drinking and stop taking kratom. I was pregnant. I had to. You know, I can't even take credit for my sobriety because I only did it for my daughter. I didn't do it for me. I didn't do it because I was done with alcohol. I didn't do it because I was ready to change. I did it because I had to. And I think that that's why, you know, after I had her and after I really tried so hard to do life sober, but I didn't change anything else about myself, about my life. I didn't actually take steps toward recovery. I just took steps away from alcohol. That is why it didn't last for me, and I think that's why a lot of people relapse. One of you asked me if the relapse happens before you ever take your first sip. I can't speak for other people, but for me, yes, absolutely 100%. I premeditated my relapse. In my mind, I had already gotten drunk 100 times. I romanticized it. I fantasized about it. And I wasn't fantasizing about the drink itself. I was fantasizing and missing the feeling of being numb and feeling like everything was going to be okay. Because my life was in absolute shambles. I hadn't drank, but my life actually felt worse than it was before I got sober. And just to give you guys some background, this is so personal and embarrassing. I can't believe I'm talking about it. I lived with family. I did not have my own place. I was living in a bedroom with my partner and my newborn baby who had heart defects. She had to eat through a feeding tube for the first few months of her life. They had to train me on putting the feeding tube down her nose and hooking it up to a machine, and that was how she ate for, I wouldn't say a few months. I think that she had to do that for about 2 months. And that alone is stressful, even if you're under the best of circumstances. Although I am so grateful that, you know, she's here with us and she is healthy. All three of us living in a room. And if some of you don't know, I have an almost 10-year-old son from my previous marriage. I'm sure you guys are gonna have a heyday with that in the comment section, especially on Instagram. You guys are animals on Instagram, by the way. I was going through just missing the feeling of alcoholism. And I can't imagine what my partner was going through. I can't even begin to speak for him on how hard that was for him. But for me, I was so miserable. I felt so suffocated. Nothing was ours. Using the kitchen and cooking, we couldn't just go out and do that anytime we wanted to. Our baby didn't have a place to crawl. Our baby didn't have her own room. Whenever she woke up during the night, you know, it was in our bedroom. It was just really difficult. And I don't think that I can actually verbalize how hard it was for me. And when I would go to work and I would be, you know, in my own head, that was when I started thinking, you know, maybe just a shot would get me through the rest of the day. Maybe if I just got drunk here in the morning while I'm sitting at my desk at work, that will be enough to hold me through the day. But if you're an alcoholic or an addict, you know as well as I do that a little bit or 1 or 2 or any amount is never enough. That's what makes us addicts, is there is no such thing as enough. That is ultimately what led to my relapse. I didn't take any steps to make my life better. I heard something from someone who is so much more intelligent than I am and has the education to complement it. But he said, you might not actually be depressed. You might just have a profoundly terrible life. And an antidepressant isn't going to do much for you in the grand scheme of things if your life is in turmoil. And although I'm not complaining about my family, I was fortunate to even have a house and a roof over my head and my kids' heads. You know, my life was in shambles. All of us living in a bedroom. That was not where I wanted to be. I hated my job. I was in financial ruin from my car accident, from, just all of the damage that I had done in my alcoholism. And I wasn't doing a single thing to get out of that place. Let me know if you want to hear more about what I did after I relapsed to make sure that I never felt that my life drunk was going to be better than my life sober.